Hello. Hoping everyone is well. I know it's been a while since I did a live, um, but I got a couple of questions, so figured this would be a good time to do it. Um, I think when people are desperate for work, I think it's very easy for people to get into trouble or to be duped, and it's very common. It's just that maybe it's not as common here, but it's really common in a lot of countries. But when people ask a lot or it concerns you having to look for a job out of Zambia, you get a little apprehensive because it's very easy to get duped or to be I'm trying to remember the term that people use when you are illegally moved from one country to another. For whatever reason, I cannot remember what the term is. But it's tragic because it's happening and we're seeing it. But I think because we're a little naive, it's very difficult to pick up on people getting duped, or it's very difficult for you to pick up some things if you don't know it, I suppose. So I got a look asked, and I've received some confusing or probably concerning queries about having to work in the UK. How do you get into care work? That's become very common. The UK is in need of workers. Yes, they're in need of workers in care jobs. That one is very true. But the way that some Zambian people are probably portraying you're getting a job in the UK is a scam. All right. And probably you're being scammed because you don't know where to check for this information. But this information is readily available online. Some of the concerning ones I've heard is where somebody tells you you can get your visa from somebody you can meet somebody who will help you with a visa at Levy-More. Now I'm thinking, okay, that's a warning sign, and you have got to be really, really careful. If somebody's offering you, why would you be getting a visa to the UK from the More, or even speaking to somebody that can help you get a visa from the More? So these are a lot of scams, the scams that are going around, and we need to be really, really clever. And I know it targets a lot of young people who are desperate for work. But the information for you to get to the UK, if you want to get to the UK, in all honesty, is on the internet. It's free of charge. You don't need to pay for anyone to tell you how to get there. Okay. Now, the jobs that are on offer at the moment in the UK are all jobs are on offer. But you've got to be a little clever what jobs you want to get into. The one that is trending at the moment is the care work thing. So somebody in the UK claims they have a license to get you to the UK. So you get onto a program that they're creating here in Zambia, and then you're able to go to the UK because they have sponsored you to get to the UK and do care work. Now, the information that you need when somebody offers you such a thing, the information that you need, you have to ask them their sponsorship numbers. It's electronic. Their license doesn't come, it's not a paper. It's an electronic thing. And the Home Office, which is the UK immigration, will have it on their system, and they can verify if it is genuine or not genuine. So don't be fooled, because that's the other thing. People are getting fooled. When someone says, I have a license, where is the license number? Ask them for that number. Just saying it, or people congratulating somebody online because they've gotten the license, does not mean they have it. So ask for the license number, and then you can check its validity with the Home Office. It's very easy to do it. You can even email them and ask them and say, look, somebody here in Zambia says they have a license. I want to check if this is valid. They can actually respond back to you. They're very good at that. So that's all you need to do to get that sponsorship number. Now, to get the information that you need, you just need to go to a website. It's called www.gov.uk, and it will give you different options. And from there, go under, it says work in the UK. So go to the click on the work in the UK button, and then check if you need a UK visa. When you go lower on that same page, it will actually give you health and care work visa. That's the information you need. Nobody needs to do this to you or tell you need to go to a school or you have to pay somebody for it. And if you click on the health and care worker visa, it will give you further options that you need, okay, or the things that you need to get this visa, okay, and the requirements that you need. Now, this is my problem. These companies that are offering sponsorship that are attached to countries, let's say in Zambia or Zimbabwe or Malawi, because lots of them have mushroomed, and lots of you people are falling in these traps because you're going to go to this school. The school is going to tell you that they're going to sponsor you. Okay, now, they don't tell you what they're sponsoring. This is where the crux is. They're not telling you what they're sponsoring. And you need to ask, are you sponsoring me for the course or are you sponsoring me for the job in the UK? And if you're sponsoring me for the job in the UK, ask for their sponsorship license. And they're supposed to give you this. Ideally, when they give you this license, you're supposed to apply for the job within 3 months. Okay, now, on the website, it will tell you which jobs they want. All right, now, if they want the care worker jobs, you need to have qualified for this job and you need to be working in that job for at least 6 months. So a lot of these jobs are not telling you that you need, a lot of these agencies or schools are not telling you that you need to have worked for at least 6 months. You equally need to have a license, a Zambian license. If you're in Zambia, you need to have a license to work in that career. Okay, for you to get a care work job, I'm thinking social work is the best thing. If you've done social work and you're currently working in a social worker role for at least 6 months, then you can apply. Okay. On top of that, some of these schools are not telling you the real fees you need or the real monies or the real cost of going to the UK. So to apply for these visas, if you go onto the .gov UK website, it will tell you how much you even need to apply for the visa, how many months or how many years. So if memory serves me, I think 200 and something pounds gets you three years. If you pay 500 and something pounds, it gives you about 5 years to work in the UK. Some of these jobs, you don't even need to do that course you're talking about. Just apply. Go online, go to Google and ask for care work jobs in a particular area. I'll give you an example. Say care work jobs in Yorkshire. All right, it's going to give you a list, and if you have the qualifications for it, or you have worked in a care worker role, and you're actively working in it for at least 6 months, then you can apply. You don't need anyone to do this to you, and you need at least, in all honesty, you need at least 100,000 kwacha for you to do what I'm talking about. So these schools will not tell you this. You need your visa fee. You need to have at least 1,500 in your account for at least 30 days before you actually apply. You need to prove that you can take care of yourself. You don't need an invitation letter. That's a whole lot of garbage. There's a lot of things that you will get told that you should actually just check online. For me, I'm telling you, go online, check for these things yourself, and nobody's going to do this to you. Kula mishinga, mafta, and all that. Because we're hearing a lot of these things, and sometimes it looks like a hullabaloo, because sometimes the person who's talking also, some kids are all over the place. But in all honesty, if you want to get into care work in the UK or into a health job, you needed to have had a qualification in health. You should be working under the Ministry of Health in Zambia for at least 6 months, and you should have your license. When you have all these things, it's very easy. You just go online, you check for whoever's offering these jobs. And most companies at the moment in the UK are a little desperate for health workers. So you will find a vacancy, apply for that company. They will call you for interviews. If it's a valid company, ask them for the license again, because you always need that sponsorship license, and you're able to apply for the job. And then you going to the UK is on you yourself. There are some companies, yes, who will offer you free air tickets and stuff like that. But that is for jobs like the higher medical jobs. So maybe let's say if you're a doctor, medical doctor, or nurses, those they offer. Most care worker jobs, they don't offer you a free air ticket, a free home, or all those are a whole lot of junk. That's a lie. So you've got to be really careful that you're not being they're not being duped to just pay into their schools, because some of these people are just starting schools. For you to do care work in the UK, you need NVQ. It's a national vocational qualification. If you live within the UK, it's very easy to get into care work. You just apply. You're able to do the job. So you just go in and start doing the jobs. But once you get into the work itself, they ask you that you start doing your course. And these are they're like developmental kind of courses as you go along. Then you can do the national vocational qualification. Nobody in Zambia can offer you a national vocational qualification meant for the UK. That's a whole lot of lies. It might be an equivalent or something similar, but it will not be what you're talking about. So that's another lie, and that's another scam that I'm hearing people are being offered, that we're going to offer you this course. Come to my school and do a national vocational course. That's a lie. All right. And if you need that kind of course, the other element I equally says, call the British Embassy up and ask these questions. It's very easy to get the truth when you call them up. Don't just believe everything somebody tells you. And unfortunately, this is just the reality. People dupe you. Even in the UK, people dupe other people. So don't get too disappointed or caught up. There are ways and means that people scam other people. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of life. I got scammed one time. Somebody, and this is a Zambian again, he'd said he'd started an agency which was offering care work. So I travel from where I was staying for a whole day. And this was like it was really far off from where I was staying. And I traveled the whole day to get to that place. I find that most of the promises or whatever he had said was a lie. I was sharing a room with 4 other girls. The kitchen had to be paid for. So if I wanted to cook, I would have to pay tokens into this cooker. If I wanted to do my laundry, I would have to pay tokens, which he'd never explained. He just said there was a home that he had prepared for workers. So in my head, I'm thinking this is it's okay kind of arrangement. And because it came referred by a close friend, so I thought it was genuine. And when I get there, the first day of work, you wake up at something ridiculous like 5. You're in a car and you drive 2 hours to the location where you're supposed to work. And you're working the whole day until close to you're only getting home about midnight. Sometimes you're starting your job and your uniform is wet. So when you start off for your job, your uniform is on the dashboard drying, getting to whatever location you're going to. And this person is driving carelessly. So you can imagine you knock off at midnight and by 5 in the morning, you've got to start off again. Now, the job was genuine. It was the care work thing. The only problem was there were a lot of questionable elements in this job. And I think at the end of the week, because I went there on a trial basis, I thought, no, let me try it out before I commit to it. So at the end of the week, the other girls that I was sharing a room with, they leave. And I'm left alone in this room. And I make a mistake. I didn't realize that the door mechanism was one that if I left the latch up, and I close the door, it would lock from the inside. So I go for a bath, and this is a communal home where you have different rooms and you're sharing a bathroom. So I walk out for a bath, and when I'm trying to get back in, I find the door is locked. So I call up my boss. He calls up a blacksmith and a locksmith, and the locksmith manages to unlock my door and everything. So when I finish my trial weeks, I think that must have been 2 weeks if memory serves me right, I ask for my pay, and the guy goes, you're not getting paid because what you were supposed to have gotten paid is what I paid the locksmith to come and unlock your door. So you can imagine you've worked for 2 weeks and you were working from 05 to midnight, and somebody tells you they're not going to pay you because they're not responsible for what happened, and they paid that locksmith. And this is happening in the UK, and this is a Zambian doing this to another Zambian. So this is not like you will not get duped. You will get duped even in other countries because people are able to dupe other people. But you've just got to know where to go and get the information from. And in this case, a lot of the schools I'm hearing about, which are in Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi, are offering all these little things where they say, come to us, we're going to teach you we're going to give you a course so that you become qualified to do care work. And then some of them don't tell you the cost of what you're getting into. Some of them are giving you ridiculous prices. Somebody was telling me of a price of doing the IELT exam. This is an English exam that you do. And they were claiming that for you to do this English exam, it's going to cost you 6,000 or something along those lines. Ridiculous prices. I tell you, everything is online. Go Google the government.uk website. Check for what they're asking for, what documentation you need when you're applying. What jobs are available in the UK. It's not every health job that is available. What are the conditionalities? How much do you need? So that you know the actual truth and nobody is doing this to you. People make money off anything. And to be honest, a lot of the people that are doing these things, unfortunately, this is where it really irks me, is that it's fellow women doing this to other women. And I look at these women who, some of them have managed maybe to go to the UK. They realize how hard it is to do that job. Care work is no joke. That's the other thing that you really need to understand. It's not a joke. It's not an easy job. I've heard where someone tells you're going to be earning 50,000 kwacha in a month. Hey. And I looked at them and I thought, in your wildest dreams, does it mean that you're not going to be sleeping for you to be working that? Because the minimum hours in the UK are supposed to be working. There are some legal hours you should work. So minimum you should work, I think, is 36. Legally, I think you can push it to about 40 something, but you cannot work above these hours that you're being promised that you're going to be making 50,000 kwacha per week. That is a whole load of lies. You cannot make 50,000 per week in care work. That's a lie. You could make on maximum maybe 500 pounds in a week. Now, this is where you're killing yourself and you're working all hours. You know, for you to get that much, you should be working maybe 7 days a week. If you're working 7 days a week, maybe you could do that. But again, guys, that's a whole lot of lies. So you really need to be careful what you're being told. When you go into these schools, are they registered under the health ministry again? You've got to be really careful. Because if you're going to be really careful, go to the Ministry of Health, ask them the questions that need to be asked. Have they authorized this company to be giving you a qualification? In Zambia, I've never heard of a care work qualification. So, under what ministry is that school operating? That's why I'm very skeptical. I would want to find out from the Ministry of Health what schools are registered to offer qualifications that offer care work. Because there's no care work have you seen any care workers in UTH or, there's no care work being offered in Zambia. Or care workers working in Zambian hospitals. I know social work is available, so I would not be surprised if somebody said social work. But care work, I'm very skeptical. So that's where you would start asking. So if somebody is offering these courses claiming that they are offering care work jobs that you can do in the UK, is it a registered college under Ministry of Health? And Ministry of Health should be able to tell you what the course is, what the course entails, and the cost of everything, so that you're not getting shocked when they tell you that this is the cost. Then you're getting scared and you're getting shocked. You need to have all this information. Because schools, there are so many wishy-washy colleges about. So start from the Ministry of Health, ask the questions that need to be asked, go online, research about what you really need. Go to the Home Office, the UK Home Office. It's www.gov.uk. Find out what is needed. If you're a care worker, what is needed, what is the sponsorship, how much you need. Everything is going to be there on the website. Nobody needs to do that to you. How much an English test cost as well, that information is all online, so nobody needs to lie to you. And you cannot get a visa or a visa query or discussion at Levy-More. I've heard this from 2 people and I'm thinking, no, nobody's offering visa advice or consultancies from the More. You need to also be a little clued up. If you need visa advice, go to an embassy. And if the embassy is not available here in Zambia, normally they have an embassy maybe in South Africa. You can call up and ask questions and speak to somebody direct. Just check these things out. All right. There's going to be so many coming up. I know, because people are desperate for work. Work is hard. And maybe, I know the care, especially in health, the health sector has become so saturated and people want jobs, but they're not jobs available. The last recruitment didn't satisfy everybody, but you can get jobs in the UK. That is very valid, that there are jobs being offered in the UK under the health ministry, but you have got to be clever. What jobs exactly? What are your requirements? What do you need for you to apply for a visa? How much do you need for you to apply for a visa? How much is an air ticket? All those things are supposed to be on the website. You can even check, if you want the air ticket, Ethiopian Airways, South African Airways, British Airways, all these airways are online. You can do it. You don't even need to go to a travel agent to tell you how much these air tickets are costing. So and unfortunately, I know it's a lot of women in Zambia, just become friends with the internet. Google everything and go to the actual page to get the information, and nobody will be doing wishy-washy over you. And unfortunately, I do apologize that a lot of young people, I do feel really sorry for the young people that have been caught up in these scams. I know of a couple of students that were telling me how they've gone to a particular school, they're qualified, they were promised that they were going to be traveling to the UK, and they haven't gone to the UK. They're still waiting. I don't know what you're waiting for. And then you're scared to speak up, because at the moment there's a lot of people that are just suing. If you mention somebody's name, they'll sue you and stuff like that. So you're scared of being sued and stuff like that. You can't speak up. But it's a sad reality. But that's what happens. A lot of people do lie to you, and I wouldn't recommend you doing things through an agency that doesn't know, or a school. There's a lot of trafficking that goes on. There's human trafficking that goes on. One person was telling me, when I get to the UK, I need to start paying back for the school, and I need to start paying back for the air ticket or whatever you're supposed to start paying for. How long are you going to be paying that for? You know, you don't even, and I ask, where is the paper? That's the other thing. Each time I ask for paperwork, none of you have any paperwork when you're asking me these questions. Get paperwork. They should have listed these things down as a school. If they're very responsible and they know what they're doing, they should have listed this out, and there should be documentation to match what they're saying. So if they're claiming that you're going to have to pay them back, how much are you paying them back? For how long will you be paying them back? Right? And then you're able to gauge, and you're able to make decisions from an informed, from an informed perspective. All right, if you're going to work for this, how many hours? How long are you paying this company for? Because I know some of you are just going to be paying because you're supposed to be paying, but ask these questions. You need to know these things. You need to have documentation that matches what they're saying, and you're able to take the documentation and go to somebody that's professional, maybe the immigration office. You can scan it and send it to I think the British Embassy. I'm trying to remember what the British Embassy is. I'm not too sure, but British Council is available. They could give you links and who you're supposed to. Everything is online. Everything is online. Don't depend on somebody else to tell you information that you can find from the source online, on the internet. Just make sure you check the validity of these things. And I do feel really sorry, because I know I was speaking to somebody that was really crying about how much they'd spent at a particular school, and now they just sat there. They don't know whether they were told the truth or they were not told the truth. All these things are just, it's a sad reality, because somebody would have spent money doing a course. And when I ask them, have you been to the Ministry of Health to ask if this course is even valid, and they haven't, then you're really, feeling very, very heartbroken on their behalf. But the 6 months, the other thing I heard of as well, which I'm questioning this very much, is the validity of the 6 months work experience you're doing in the schools, because some of these schools are offering you work experience 6 months to a year's, I think, work experience. Now, when you do these work experience gigs, I don't think these are going to be equivalent to what the Home Office is asking when they say you should have been working in the health sector for the past 6 months. So work experience and working permanently in a job are two different things. I don't know if you get my drift. So when you're doing your visa, they want you to have been working in a job for at least 6 months. So if you're a nurse, you should have been working in a hospital for the last 6 months. Active work where you're getting paid. Now, if you're just working to get work experience, that doesn't qualify. It's not the same thing. Do you get my drift? So automatically, that's where I would be very iffy about a scam. I would accept if they told you that, look, you're going to do your course, and then you have to work in the hospital under maybe voluntary basis. You've already qualified. Now you're working under voluntary basis, or you're going to be employed for a period of 6 months. Then you can apply for this. Then I would agree. But 6 months work experience is not equal or equivalent to you working correctly for that 6 months period that the visa requires. Automatically, that's where I would be telling you there's something not right about this company or this agency or this school. So whether the school is in Zambia, whether the school is in Malawi or Zimbabwe, ask all these questions, get documentation, that it's hard documentation of what they're telling you, the cost and everything, how much they're asking you to pay for, because you don't want to be trafficked. The trafficking element is it's real, it happens, and you've got to be extra careful that you don't get trapped in a different country. And unfortunately, some of these, if you get illegally moved from one country to another, and they find out that you've been illegally moved to that country, when they bring you back to Zambia, you cannot go back for a while. Depending on which country you went to, there's some rules, and you block yourself. So make sure you do these things correctly. Make sure you really do these things as correctly as possible. Then you have a chance of going to work in the UK. But to be honest with you, it's an expensive venture, and people shouldn't lie to you and tell you that I'm going to sponsor you. I'll give guys, it's an expensive venture. I would prefer that you have the money prior to going, so that when you go to the UK, nobody does this to you and you're not leaving for somebody else, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to move to the UK, and then they'll tell you you're supposed to pay us for whatever sponsorship that they got, and you're going to be trapped for I don't know how long trying to pay these people back. And it's not a good way of living. And the reality that people don't tell you is that the life in the UK is, I'm saying this from a I'll say this from a loving point of view, in case you think that maybe it's said from a bad point of view. Life in the UK is expensive, and it's pressure heavy, as in stressful. All right, you've got to pay for a lot of bills that here in Zambia we don't pay for. All right, food is really cheap, lifestyle is cheap, but the living expenses are very expensive, and you've got to be really told this before you go. Okay, if you have a job, things are a lot easy and they're a lot smoother. But when you're getting in, it's really expensive and it's really tough. And people should not lie to you. You need to be aware of all these things. So that I would just want you to know that and the working environment isn't particularly one that you're going to say you're going to enjoy, because you're new. When you're new in a new country, the other thing is you get really homesick, and then on top of that you're working all these crazy hours, so you begin to get a lot more stressed than you would have been stressed here in Zambia. But if you have a proper qualification, that's what I will be advising you. Get into a proper qualification under health. Do something like nursing, even a diploma in nursing. Do your dentistry, your podiatry. Do as many, anything that and I would be advising that you do this if you genuinely want to get into health. Because if you don't want to get into health, there's no point in you doing such a job. It's going to be a really, hard job for you to do, because it's very intense on the work. It's not the way you see nurses here. Don't be fooled. Care work is hands-on. You will be wiping people's bottoms. If you cannot wipe another person's bottom, or you give even at wiping a baby's bottom, I'll be telling you don't do care work. Because you need to wipe their bottom. You need to feed them if they're not fed. You will see so many things that you've never seen in your life. And you will be thinking twice about your logic. If you're not health conscious, I promise you will not like the job. You've got to love, or you've got to be caring, or you've got to be really vested and want to do a healthcare work. Then I would say do it. But if you are not somebody who loves taking care of other people, you will have a really hard time doing that job. That's the reality of care work. So you need to also be told that reality. You will see things that you probably should never have seen. Even a doctor will not see it unless somebody is sick. But you will see these things on a daily basis. I'll give you an example. I did a lot of care work when I just started out. And one of the things that I found that a lot of people were struggling with was caring for a person when they're on the bed. Somebody doesn't walk, they don't talk, they don't do anything. So you have to do everything for them. You have to change their diapers. You have to turn them every 2 hours. And if they've been unwell for a long time, they have bad wounds, bed sores. Now, if you've never seen a bed sore and you see a bed sore for the first time in your life, and it's oozing pus, it changes your way you think in your mind, and some jobs are good for startouts. If it's funding your life and you're just starting out a career, it's absolutely fine. You can do. There's nothing embarrassing about doing care work if that's what you want to do. But you've got to know that it's hard work. It's not an easy job. I worked in a place where this man used to throw shit at you, poo at you the whole day. The whole day you were ducking, ducking this man. So there's all that. But I think people are not told the truth. And if you want to get into care work, I would be advising do a good job, a better job than just going to be the lower end, a bottom cleaner. That's what I would be saying. So make sure you get a job, do maybe nursing, do midwifery. Then you'll be a bit saved. So then you can choose. If you want to do care work, you can be a midwife, but you can do care work maybe on the side to raise some money. Because a lot of care work job, this is the other thing. Care work is not something I would be advising you to do full time. I could tell you do it so that you're getting a little bit more money. So you do another job, but you do care work on the side. That's what I did. So the care work helps you raise a little bit money, but you're doing something else on the side. Then you're not too vested in it and you're not doing it permanently. That equally is a better way of doing it. All right. Do things like dentistry. dental care is high in the UK, and people are, they really do need a lot of dentists. So get properly trained in that. Do things like podiatrics, physiotherapy, radiotherapy, cardiology. All these things are better paid, and you have better conditions of work. But to just say you're going to get into care work only, and that's what you do permanently, then I don't know. Especially if you're a young person, I would say the best is get into it as a side gig. But for me, the scams that are going on, my advice is get concrete information. When you go to the schools, get typed information, hard copy information, not just word of mouth. You'll be making 50,000 kwacha per week. Our guys, woof you. If that was the truth, that Munapanga 50 pin per week, would we be here? So those are lies. Let's just be really honest. And I feel sorry for the people that have been duped, and the people that have called up asking and stuff like that. So I'm really sorry that's happened to you. But unfortunately, that's human nature. People do take advantage of other people, especially when you're desperate. So I would say don't be desperate, because I think when you're desperate, it's easy to be taken care of. You kind of become blindsided, and you don't think through things because you're desperate. So make sure that you find out this information. Ask the questions that really matter. Go to the departments that are in charge of the, and you cover your back so much. That's what I would be advising you to do. And I hope I've been as helpful as possible, because I think that was. I got a query, I got calls, I got people asking, and they're talking about somebody online that's been talking about being duped, are the fees real, and all sorts of things. And because I've seen these schools mushroom around Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi. I think there was one that told me there's equally another school in Congo offering something similar. So it means because this is being offered, the scams are available. It's the same thing. The same way we get scammed when people are offering scholarships in abroad. It's the same thing that's happening. So just be extra vigilant, extra careful, ask questions, go to the ministries, cover your back, make sure that you're not being trafficked illegally, and you're not being trapped into agreements where you're going to be paying somebody. You don't even know how long you'll be paying this person for the education that you got. Be prepared, because financially it's expensive. Like I said, you would need at least 100,000 kwacha for what. When I look online at the government page, what you need close to 100,000 kwacha. So if you don't have 100,000 kwacha, sis or brother, just stop. That's what I would be advising you to do. And when you're told that somebody has been, because I think somebody was telling me that's what is being used, when someone tells you, no, I know in Nalia, or my sisters or my brothers are in the UK because they were helped by this person or that person. It's not help, my friend. They are paying for it. And I would equally make sure you ask the people that are offering or who claim that they're there in the UK. Call them up, get their contacts if possible. Make sure you're speaking to somebody genuine, though it's very difficult. So that's why I'm saying still more. I would be wanting to check from this end. Make sure that you find out from this end that things are genuine and you're not being duped and you're not being fooled. Because scams are just happening, and it's very possible. It's very easy to scam somebody, actually. When you look at this, it's ripe for scams, and it's very easy to get scammed. So I hope I've been helpful, and that this helps. And this is not, because I know the other thing is people are scared of speaking up because we'll be sued and everything. But I'm not speaking for a particular company or I don't own any agency or whatever to advise you to go to the UK or anything. I'm not an immigration lawyer. I'm not an immigration officer or an agent. So I'm just telling you this from a point where I know what you're supposed to do if you wanted to do it. But I don't want you thinking that I'm an immigration officer or that I could help you get to the UK. If you call me up or ask me, I will tell you to go to the websites, because that's where the information is at. So have that in mind. I would not be advising you to do any schools in Zambia or whatever. I would be advising you to get a proper health qualification. Get a proper health qualification, nursing, clinical medicine. When you get these and you get into a job and you're working for at least six months, especially in the Zambian, under the Zambian health ministry, then you can apply for jobs. Before that, just be patient. If you really, really want to go to the UK, that's the route I would be telling you to go for, because it's safe and you're going on your own on your own terms. Nobody's controlling you or telling you how to do it. That's what I would be advising. So hoping you're having a good day and a good afternoon, and thanks for listening.